This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch for this Friday, September 20th. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, what's next for the people of Israel and the nation's relationship with the United States following a special election there this week. Historic flooding in Texas takes lives and destroys homes as well as property. The incredible reason a family had to flee Denmark and seek asylum here in the United States. And going the distance with Sean Brown, all the latest in sports. All of that is ahead in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We want to begin this hour, though, with the nearly final Israeli election results. The opposition blue and white party of Benny Gantz edged ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party. As Chris Mitchell now reports from Jerusalem, now the hard task of forming a government begins.
Israeli President Reuven Rivlin pulled Netanyahu and Gantz together to pose for a handshake photo at a state memorial service for former Prime Minister Shimon Peres. But that's about as far as the unity is going for now.
The people chose unity. The people want for Israel to be before everything. And therefore, blue and white, under my leadership, won the elections. Blue and white is the biggest party.
In the final, though not yet official vote count, Gantz won 33 seats to Netanyahu's 31.
Benny, it's on us to form a broad unity government today.
Earlier, Gantz rejected an offer from Netanyahu to join the right-wing bloc of parties in forming a unity government. But in the final tally, analysts point out that the right-wing bloc of voters that would have wanted Netanyahu as prime minister is actually much larger than the left. Ahead of the voting, many felt the elections were really a referendum on Netanyahu, not his policies, but on him personally. And because of personal rivalries and policy issues, some of those parties will no longer join together in a government, giving Gantz an advantage. However, without the Likud or some of the religious and right-wing parties, Gantz has no chance of forming a government.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now live from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, where does this election process stand right now, and could it change Israel's relationship with the United States?
Well, Ephraim, where it stands right now is on Sunday, President Reuven Rivlin is going to start sitting down with all the political parties. He's going to ask them for a recommendation of who they want to be the next political party and leader to go ahead and form a coalition government. That particular person could be Benny Gantz or Bibi Netanyahu. Will have 28 days to form a coalition government. How it changes any relationship with the U.S., I believe that Israeli-U.S. relationship will remain strong regardless of who may be leading next Israeli government. It is hard to imagine, though, a closer personal relationship between President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. That has been extraordinarily strong personal relationship. But overall, I think the U.S.-Israel relationship will remain strong regardless of who's leading Israel right now.
So what do you think the likelihood is of a unity government?
Well, it's possible, but it's really unknown right now, Ephraim, how this is going to go on. Bibi Netanyahu has about 55 seats that he can claim as going forward, but the magic number, so to speak, is 61. He's 6 seats short. So is Benny Gantz. He's short as well. So it remains to be seen if there's a possibility that blue and white or Netanyahu will be able to form a unity government. Benny Gantz would like to have a unity government with the Likud party, but he doesn't want it with Netanyahu. And many people on the right would refuse that as well. So it's really going to be fascinating to see what the political machinations are going to be in the next several weeks to see what's going to happen to Israel's political system.
Indeed. What are the challenges to Benjamin Netanyahu going forward?
Well, obviously he has a political challenge right now. He has a math problem. He's 6 seats short of a majority, but he also has legal obstacles right now. October 2nd and 3rd, Attorney General for Israel, Mandelblit, is going to be hearing arguments about why he should not be indicted for breach of trust or bribery. So that's one thing that he faces. And also the political challenges of trying to form a unity government or share power with, say, the blue and white. Another argument for the blue and white is saying, well, listen, Netanyahu is facing these legal challenges. Why doesn't he take care of those first? And then we'll see if he can join a unity government in the future.
Chris, how could a confrontation with Iran change everything there?
Well, that would change everything, Ephraim, and there is a real possibility of a regional war right now. This attack by Iran on Saudi Arabia's largest oil processing facility was an attack on a U.S. ally, actually an Israeli ally, if you want to say that, and also on the world's global oil supply. So there is a possibility of a regional war. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was just here visiting Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. He called it an active war, and they'll be meeting at the United Nations next week, I think, laying the case out and trying to get European and other allies on board to have a united front against Iran. But a regional war is actually a possibility that would change everything here in Israel, and I think you'd see a natural unity government to face any threat of Iran right now.
Busy week there in Jerusalem. So what's ahead today on Jerusalem Dateline?
Well, on Jerusalem Dateline, we're going to have a roundtable with John Waggy and Julie Stahl talking more about the elections. We have an interview with Joel Rosenberg, New York Times best-selling author, about Iran. He had just come back from Saudi Arabia. We were there as well to cover that visit. We also have a story on Tel Aviv, how, just 100 or so years ago was just a sandy beach. Right now, it's a thriving metropolitan city. And so that's also a fulfillment of prophecy. So we'll have that as well for this week's Jerusalem Dateline.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And of course, you can watch Jerusalem Dateline this evening at 9:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel. Millions of people along the Gulf Coast and Texas and Louisiana are waking up to a nightmare. Several people are dead and thousands of others are thankful to have survived with their lives after floodwaters turned interstates and neighborhoods into rivers. Jennifer Wishon reports.
Yesterday afternoon, Tina and Robert Horn headed to Walmart for groceries. 9 hours later, they were rescued from their flooded car.
I hit that water. Poof.
That was it.
How deep? Car's floating.
Car was floating.
Oh, yeah, car floating.
How deep?
Well, it was up here.
I'm like seeing sideways so the current wouldn't knock me frontwards.
Flooding is being blamed for the deaths of 2 men, including one who drowned attempting to drive through 8 feet of water.
We always told folks, turn around, don't drown. In this case, it seems like he didn't heed that warning and continued to drive through it.
Remnants of Tropical Storm Imelda dumped more than 40 inches of water on Jefferson County in just 72 hours. And in Harris County, emergency officials making at least 1,700 high water rescues.
And everybody was like, get out the car, it's about to get higher, you can't do nothing about it.
In Beaumont, the Coast Guard plucked victims from water and flew them to safety. It's a devastating blow for families like these, some with as much as 5 feet of water in their homes, many wading through chest-high water to flee their neighborhoods.
It's been relentless, and we just can't escape. It's like we're on an island here.
As waters rose, this herd of cattle joined people in a rush to higher ground.
These people have been standing around for hours now, and it looks like it's going to be a while longer.
In the Houston region, some 5 million residents may not see high waters recede until well into the weekend, the beginning of another long road to recovery. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
The Farmer's Almanac for 2020 is predicting a polar coaster of a winter. Peter Geiger, the book's editor, says he's using that term because temperatures are going to be up and down with a cold stretch the last week of January and first week of February. Although it doesn't use modern forecasting techniques, the almanac uses mathematic and astronomical formulas created by its founder, David Young, back in 1818. He was a mathematician and an astronomer. Now you can find more on the Farmer's Almanac's forecast at cbnnews.com. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has a new plan to lower the price of prescription drugs. It would give the government power to negotiate with drug companies over the price of up to 250 medicines a year. Now, the prices would apply to people with both private insurance and those on Medicare.
When you travel the country, the issue of the cost of prescription drugs is one subject that can make grown men cry. Just cry about not being able to deal with those costs, what it means, to the health and well-being of their families because of cost. The burden of out of control prescriptions becomes an issue that touches every family in America.
The nonpartisan Citizens Against Government Waste has come out against Pelosi's new plan, calling it legislation that, quote, espouses the socialist view that big government knows better and should control every industry. And while the plan could pass in the House, it is unlikely to be approved by the Republican-controlled U.S. Senate. Hundreds of churches are expected to participate in voter registration Sunday this weekend. The goal is to get Christians across America more engaged in the political process. Jason Yates is the CEO of My Faith Votes, the group organizing Sunday's event. On CBN's Faith Nation program, he explains why Christians should be involved in the political process.
Jason, what do you say to people when they say churches should stay out of politics?
Well, our honorary national chairman is Mike Huckabee. I asked him that same question recently, and what he said to me is, do you do your dishes? Because if you don't do your dishes and you just turn your back on it, the stack of dishes are only going to grow, and the stench from all your dirty dishes is only going to grow. So what you got to do is roll up your sleeves and do the dishes. And I think that's a perfect analogy for what we are facing here. We can't just ignore it. We have to bring the good of our faith, the values of our faith, into the election process and the civic square.
My Faith Votes also offers technology to help people vote, including a tool that provides automated election reminders for state, local, and national elections. Be sure to check out CBNnews.com to find out how you can access that tool. Coming up, the unbelievable story of one family fleeing their homeland for a free country for fear of being separated simply for what they believe. Stay with us.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern Gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
The Millsburg Falls man coming.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
A family flees home, taking only what they could carry in their suitcases, and they weren't escaping a war zone or even terrorists. They came to the United States seeking asylum from Denmark. Dale Hurd has the story.
Torben Sondergaard is the founder of the Last Reformation, a worldwide movement which seeks to return Christianity to the Book of Acts. He also began the Jesus Center in Denmark, which trained disciples from 30 nations to spread this message around the world. But Torben and his family fled Denmark this year like refugees fleeing a war zone, leaving with only what they could carry in 8 suitcases. The attacks against the ministry began in 2016, when the Jesus Center was investigated by 6 different Danish government agencies, for everything from food safety to unpaid taxes. Officials found nothing wrong. Then last year, the government began to investigate the Sondergaard family when they began homeschooling. When they put their daughter back into public school, the investigations didn't stop. But the worst was yet to come. Torben Sondergaard's life and ministry would take a dramatic turn when Danish TV approached him and said it wanted to do a profile of his ministry. It sounded like it could be very positive. It wasn't. Danish TV sent not only a film crew, it also sent 2 undercover reporters into Torben's ministry. One who said he wanted to follow Jesus and was even baptized, and another who pretended to be mentally ill. The result was a news documentary called God's Best Children. It lumped Torben in with other so-called radical Christian ministries that had had serious moral or ethical failures, or even criminal activity.
When I saw that, I was like, I'm finished now. No one will ever trust me again.
Torben watched in horror as he saw himself depicted on national TV as a liar, as an abuser of children and the mentally unstable, through healings and so-called exorcisms, and as a quack who takes medicine away from the sick, something he says he's never done.
I've been doing ministry for 18 years. I never had problem. I never had complaints. Not like, of course, there've been misunderstanding. People have maybe got hurt and so on, like every other church and every other ministry. But when these programs started, it just changed the whole atmosphere in Denmark. We were like, we need to leave Denmark. This is not going to stop.
It didn't. Torben became a punching bag on Danish TV, as guests on news shows pushed for a new law against Christians who allegedly inflicted mental violence on children through healings and deliverance.
And then they interviewed a state church priest talking about that we were the evil people coming as a predator to find the weak animals who were sick and eat them, and how we wanted to take people into the cult.
Then the demands grew in the media for Torben to be investigated for the crime of quackery.
And I just saw there that I was already guilty in the mind of the politician. I was already guilty in the mind of the people for something I have nothing to do with.
Torben was now a marked man, viewed as a dangerous person by many of his countrymen, worried that he would lose his children.
And we had people starting to call us, say that you have to leave Denmark now, because they're not going to stop. They want to continue getting you down. So we bought a ticket to America, and 2 days later we had packed 8 suitcases, and we left with our kids to America. And yeah, and it was very stressful. And now our center is closed. We had a 80,000 square feet center in Denmark is closed down. Our work is closed down. Everything is closed down.
The Sondergaards have appealed to the U.S. government for political asylum. Torben has testified in a sworn affidavit that if he is returned to Denmark, he risked being imprisoned and having his minor daughter removed from their family. The Danish press agency has ruled that Torben was misled by the journalist who made the documentary. But there's no government agency in Denmark that can give Torben his reputation back or guarantee his freedom if he returns. Torben now waits to see if his asylum request will be approved, and he said he dreams of starting a Jesus Center like he had in Denmark here in America.
And I believe through all of this, I also have a message to people in America that we need to be prepared. We need to be alert. To say that they will never have in America, that is a lie. I have said the same in Denmark. This is going to come to America.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Still ahead, what is being said about the Tennessee Titans defense after last night's game with Jacksonville? We will have more from the world of sports with our own Sean Brown here with us. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News. I'll be right back.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by a God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
The Jacksonville Jaguars won over Tennessee's Titans last night with a score of 20-7. Commentators saying the Jags actually embarrassed the Titans defense. Our Sean Brown is here now with that story and more from the world of sports. So first, let's talk about that game last night. Do you agree that they did that to the Titans?
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
First of all, their starter, Nick Foles, is out, so they got their backup in, and the score is 22-7. Football is a game of inches, and you have to show up for every one of them. So the short answer, yes, they did get embarrassed.
A better story considering my former ties to Tennessee. A different story in college football this week. A little boy bullied for wearing a University of Tennessee T-shirt. What happened after that? I mean, it was horrible to see that part of it.
So here you have this boy, I think it was a week ago, where this boy, I think it was bring your favorite college team, wear your college team, bring it to school that day. And this kid, I guess, didn't have any gear, so he decided to draw it on his T-shirt. You guys are familiar with the story by now. But what the university did was the university reached out to the young man and said, hey, we're going to give you a whole bunch of University of Tennessee gear. That was the first gesture because the teacher, I think, posted a picture of the boy wearing this shirt with this picture that he drew with University of Tennessee on it. And the university said, hey, we're going to give you a lot of gear. We're going to also offer you an honorary scholarship, or honorary admittance to the school. And then they're going to give you a full scholarship on top of that. So here you have an example of how God reaches out and says, you know what? I see you, and I'm going to bless you just because of your heart. And so, I mean, this is just a great testament. This kid was probably feeling in the dumps, self-esteem just damaged, and the University of Tennessee reached out and said, you know what, we're going to show this young man some love. And I mean, hey, to all of the people who feel bullied out there, hey, God sees you, we see you. So keep your head up and tell someone.
Indeed, indeed, God does see you. Another inspiring story out of Virginia. We have Coach Tony Bennett. Boy, just that moved me this week. What did he do?
Quality guy, I tell you. So his contract was, they were going to extend his contract. He was going to get a raise. And he decided to, he rejects the raise in his new deal. And he says, you know what? My wife and I are okay. Just reinvest that money back into school, into the basketball program and into the other athletic programs here at the University of Virginia. I mean, quality guy. I got a chance to talk with him a little bit during the March Madness tournament and, of course, the Final Four. And I was there for the championship. And just a quality guy, man. Loves the players, loves the program. And, I mean, just a great gesture to show that, hey, man, I'm vested in this program. It's not about me. It's about these kids.
Indeed. I love that. Now, five-time World Series champion, recent in Hall of Fame inductee, former New York Yankees closer, Mariano Rivera, honored by the president with a Medal of Freedom.
Yes.
Ah, how beautiful.
This happened just past Monday. He is one of the greats. He deserves the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Just a solid man of faith. And it's interesting because I had an opportunity to interview him as well. And one of the things he said was, look, I don't care about all the stats and all that stuff. None of that stuff means anything to me. It doesn't make me more or make me less. What I care about, I don't want to be known for those things. What I care about is people knowing me for my faith. And that was the most important thing to him. So congratulations to him.
Great guy. I actually met him on the streets of New York one day. Great guy. Yeah.
Solid. Yes. What you see is what you get all the time.
Agreed. All the time. So what do you think the biggest game this weekend is going to be?
Easy, man. Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens.
All right.
Boom. You got to see it. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, let's get it.
All right. Before we let you go, what's going to happen on Going the Distance?
Got some great stories coming up. Be sure to tune in Saturdays at 7:30 p.m., Sundays at 6:30. So stay tuned. Stories of faith, sports, and everything in between.
All right. Worth watching. Sean, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Look forward to seeing you next week. And, of course, you can catch Going the Distance, as Sean Brown said, this weekend on the CBN News Channel at 7:30 and Sunday at 6:30. We'll be right back.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he has, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
Before we say goodbye, actor Brad Pitt is praising Kanye West's Sunday service after attending one during the Labor Day holiday. The 55-year-old was seen speaking with the rapper and sharing a handshake at the invite-only event in Watts, California. Entertainment Tonight reported that Pitt said he enjoyed the Sunday service put on by West and that it is doing something really special and is a pure celebration of life and people. Kanye West's wife, Kim Kardashian, says this is an expression of his faith after he had a life-changing encounter with Jesus Christ. Well, that will do it for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our CBN News programs at cbnnews.com and, of course, on the CBN News channel. We'd also love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Email us. The address is newswatch@cbn.com. And, of course, reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend.